United States is Cairo, Egypt. It is Amman, Jordan. Everyone's lying and stealing and cheating, the government included. And unless we do something, we are going to be reduced to a third world country. And it's not because we're importing the third world, which we have done at some level, but rather it's because what it is to be American has completely fallen apart. We have white supremacists, not even the impressive kind of white supremacists. We have like degenerate ones running the country, and they're not even developing white people. Being American is a little bit bigger than this narrow understanding that you might get from a Pete Hegseth, who's a dim-witted white supremacist. We have a lot to do in terms of defining what it is to be American, ensuring assimilation, and also providing our populace with the education, tools, conditioning, culture, and values so that they can actually enjoy the land of opportunity, but more importantly, make our collective, our country, a strong place that will continue to dominate the world, not in a bad way, but in a good way.
Marquette Burton is absolutely correct. The United States of America is regressing, and you have to be an absolute fool to not see exactly what is going on. We're not progressing as a people in mass at all. The only thing that is progressing is the technology, right? The only thing that is progressing is the fall. Those things are progressing. Those things are definitely accelerating. But if you were to ask me the state of the American people in 2026 as of June 1st, I would have to say that many of us, well, not me, many Americans are lost in the sauce. Right? We're so distracted by racism. We're so blinded by hate, right? Our very spirits, the American spirit is filled with hate. But, you know, given its history, is it really surprising? Given the history of the United States of America, whether we're talking about absolute genocide, whether we're talking about imperialism, whether we're talking about colonialism, whether we're talking about slavery, is it really a surprise that the American spirit is filled up with such hate and delusion? Is it really a surprise that we have people in political office, instead of trying to bring us all together, instead of using our strength, which has been our strength for the very longest, instead of using that, they rather divide and conquer, right? And I mean, that's a power move, right? To gain power over a people, first you have to separate them. And once you separate them, you isolate them. Once you isolate them, you give them an enemy to point a finger at. And once you give them an enemy to point at, they will never, ever point the finger at you. They will never, ever see that you're robbing them blind. And that's exactly what we're seeing in today's time. Americans are being robbed blind while pointing the finger at their neighbor. And it's never ending. And like I've said many times, it's never going to stop. And there's nobody out here really helping, okay? The so-called people who say they're trying to help, you have your legion of incels. Listen, that page is full of hate. That page is full of finger pointing. That page is full of, oh, look, it's the women. Oh, look, it's the immigrants. Oh, look, it's the blacks, right? That page is not even, you have a lot of these guys who are on YouTube, a lot of these influencers nowadays, they added to the problem. They accelerated the problem, right? And instead of being constructive, right, building young men up, and in particular, the young white men in America, instead of building them up, right, instead of giving them something to actually work on, a lot of these pages just tapped into the easiest thing that they can tap into. Hate is the easiest thing you can tap into. It is easy. All you got to do is point the finger. All you got to do is blame somebody. And this is why I dissociated myself from the red pill. This is why I dissociated myself from the so-called manosphere, because at the end of the day, it just became a whole chaotic shit show, right? It's not constructive at all. They're not building up men at all. They're still blaming women. They're still blaming everybody for their problems instead of finding a solution and helping men build up. So you have legion of incels. You have people like, what's the guy's name? Nick Fuentes, Nikki Fuentes. And you have others of the like, you know, these fake conservative YouTube channels. You have all of these guys, right, who are supposedly supposed to be building men up. But quite frankly, I only see a select few, which is my page included. Listen, I give the solutions, right? I tell men what must be done. I tell men exactly what needs to happen, right? However, I understand that 80% of people who are probably watching this are not going to do a damn thing. 80% of men watching this, they're not going to do a damn thing, which is okay. If I can get to 20% to do something about their lives, if I can get to 20%, you know, to tap in and start being productive members of society and take control of their individual lives instead of pointing the finger at women, pointing the finger at minorities, pointing the finger at blacks, pointing the finger at whites, or what have you. If I can get that 20% to do what needs to be done to protect themselves and to protect their family, guess what? I have done my job. But for the rest of these channels, they have done nothing, right? They continue to finger point, right? They continue to spew hate. And one of the main reasons why Donald Trump got elected in the first place is because of the spewing of hate from the red pill in the first place, right? And you can see this from the highs of the highs. You can see certain political figures using red pill talking points, using old red pill talking points, right? You can see the influencers. Listen, I've said this many times. The influencers that are doing this, they are simply just using your frustration and turning it against you, right? They're making money from your frustration. And this is why somebody like me, the after pill, have not seen that exponential growth that I should see, because I'm telling the truth. I'm not trying to spare your feelings, right? I'm telling the truth on all sides of the aisle. And while doing that, I am trying to, you know, bring people together. I'm trying to bring men together. But at the same time, I know that, you know, it's more than likely that will never happen, right? And, you know, unlike Marquette, you know, which still sounds like he has some hope for the American future, I have no hope for y'all. I'm just being honest, right? It's too ingrained into the society. And I have about 60,000 new viewers who are in and out watching my channel. If you are new here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, right? Help this channel grow, help this message get out there, right? And back to the topic. But unlike Marquette, I have no hope for y'all, right? I know exactly how this ends, right? I know exactly how this is going to pan out. And listen, America is not the future anymore. I hope you guys understand that and realize that. Some good coffee. I said long before, I said that the white men, right? And I've said this on a past video. I said that the white men are going to destroy America. And lo and behold, look at what's happening. The white men are destroying America, right? And listen, if white men will only fight back, right? I know we heard that saying before. And no, I'm not talking about the white supremacy saying of white men fight back.
I built a life. I built a family. I worked my hands raw to get here. And I'm not done. This is the escape blueprint. PFP life. A way out of the grind and into control. You'll learn how I stack cash, build systems, and reclaim time so you can live on your own terms. You will watch me maneuver and grind towards the life that I achieve for myself, and you can also do the same. Join the circle, join the Patreon, learn the steps, and protect your freedom. The Escape Blueprint, PFP Life.
Until white men en masse start fighting for what's right? White man fight back, right? until they actually start fighting back for what's actually right, what's actually righteous, what's actually just, and especially according to the Constitution that their forefathers wrote, right, we'll never see this country be great. And that's just being honest. And listen, I'm not here to save America. I'm not here to even complain about the state of America. I am simply just reporting you the news. However, this is what I want you guys to understand. The future is no longer America. They understand this. I would take it as far to say that they are purposely allowing hate to infiltrate all aspects of this country, right? The elites understand and recognize that they've hit this level, right? Or they've hit this ceiling that they know they can't get past, right? They know that the ceiling has been reached as far as America goes, right? And I've said this plenty of times. America is non-productive, right? We've lost the productive class. We've lost the innovative class. We've lost the creative class. If anything, those class of people, the ones that do exist, right, they're leaving. This is what's happening. The productive class of America, the elite, even the elite class of America, the creative classes of America, they're going overseas, right? They're changing countries. I believe I just seen an article written, I believe I posted it on YouTube as well, but the rich elite classes, they are getting more than one passport, right? They're going about their way to get more than one passport now. Why? Because they see the writing on the wall, right? A second passport is just like having Bitcoin at this point. A second passport is like having a crypto stash, right? Having some cash on hand. That's exactly how the elite class are treating a second passport now, because they're seeing the writing on the wall. They see what America is turning into. And, you know, when you have 80% plus of people who are complete idiots and complete imbeciles, right? They love hate more than they love success. They love jealousy more than they love love, right? They hate other people more than they want to see other people progress. And that's just the state of the country, right? No sugarcoating, no fillers, just straight drop. This is just straight drop. And unfortunately, you know, for those who are good people, for those who mean good, for those who want righteousness and prosperity for all people, unfortunately, you're going to get wrapped up into all of the riffraff, right? You're going to get wrapped up into the bull crap. You're going to get wrapped up into the evil. You're going to get wrapped up into all of this, not because you want to, but it just is what it is. And that's one reason why I'm also leaving the country, because, you know, being someone who deals with this on a regular basis, I deal with the hate, I deal with the idiocy, right? And hate is nothing more than idiocy, right? Especially coming from the bottom, you know, the bottom pool of people. And America has really failed in, you know, resolving these issues. And if you ask me, I would say one of the biggest reasons why America is still what it is today, you know, on a mass level, is because we never really properly punished a Confederate. You know what? We could take it all the way back to never really properly punishing the Confederate. The Confederates and the insurrectionists and all of these treasoners, they were never properly punished, right? We should have severely punished them. Laws should have been made banning Confederate flags and anything of that nature. But of course, everybody wanted to lean back on the Constitution. Oh, freedom of speech and freedom of, no. I don't think being treasonous is freedom of speech. I don't think going against the United States of America is freedom of speech, right? But we put them under that label. And of course, the reason why, because the voting bloc for said people, especially in the South, was large. So the political class said, well, instead of punishing them, how about we use the poor white man, right? Because look at them, they have nothing, you know, especially, before Reconstruction and, you know, going through Reconstruction, the South was decimated, right? They had nothing. They took the slaves from them, which was basically their powerhouse. They took the slaves from them. They had nothing else. Most of the people in the South didn't even own slaves, but for those that did, that was their moneymaker, and that's what provided and built up the communities in the South. That money that was coming in, and now that they don't have that, many of them were very uh, uh, not knowledgeable or not educated in many things, so they didn't and couldn't find jobs. So I mean, that was a prime example or prime reason for the political class to come in there and say, you know what, we will get all of this together, just vote for me. So instead of punishing them, they use their votes, to gain power, right? That's as simple as that. But everything we can trace back to never really punishing racism, never really punishing white supremacy, because there's a need for it, unfortunately. There's a need for it. The political class need it. The elites, they need it. Because how else what other incentive does the poor white man have? I mean, which are the majority of them, right? What other incentive does the poor white man have besides feeling like he's better than everybody else, no matter how successful those people have become in the United States of America? As long as the poor white man have somebody to look down on, right? You can rob them in broad daylight. And that's what a lot of these, so-called conservative channels are doing. That's what these so-called legion of incels are doing, legion of men, completely unproductive channels that spew hate all the time, right? Your Nicky Fuentes, he built this whole platform on the mediocre and unsuccessful white man. And, I've been saying this for the longest, right? I say white men need to follow me. No, seriously, white men need to follow me. Listen, I'm paving the way. I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen. I'm telling you that your country has betrayed you a long time ago. They never gave you anything besides racism. They never ever gave you anything besides the race card. I'm white. That's all. That's all that they've given you. For the most part, many of you have never achieved the American dream, right? There's only a select percentage of white men that has been successful in this country en masse, right? We don't count post-World War. That was a select time period. That was a very, very specific time period post-World War that allowed white men and families en masse to gain the American dream. But after that time period, after baby boomers, we see how that has basically declined. And they have given you nothing. They have given you nothing. Legion of incels have given you nothing. What? But a false superiority complex, right? Nicky Fuentes has given you nothing but a false superiority complex. These guys have given you nothing. And you continue to let them rob you in broad daylight. White man, when are you going to stand up? When are you going to stand up and recognize that your enemy isn't the black man? Your enemy isn't the immigrant. Your enemy isn't, the people that they told you who are your enemy. When are you going to stand up and realize this? Right? And maybe at this point it's too late. But I'm just the messenger. I'm just communicating to you my thought process on it. If you were to ask me, I quite frankly don't give a damn. Y'all can burn this place down for all I care. Just make sure you give me my money and my reparations and we all good. And listen, man, that's an after pill. The after pill is the ideology. The escape blueprint is the framework. And PFP life is how you should live. In purpose, in freedom, and power. If you want to know more, if you want to gain more knowledge and gain more wisdom, if you want to stay ahead of the curve, right? If you want to learn AI, if you want to learn how to build your website, if you want to keep track of the trending stocks and crypto, they're bound to blow. Come over to the Patreon and join the family. And if you want to take it another step further, come and join the inner circle. This is a group of guys, high intensity, who are building towards the future, who are gaining momentum, who are building applications, who are moving country to country, right? We have our next networking event, our first networking event in Cartagena, Colombia at the end of December going into the new year. So if you want to be a part of that, come and join the inner circle. I'm only accepting a select few of people, and this is a serious group. We're not playing any games. You have to show up, you have to work, you have to do what needs to be done, you have to report your metrics, you have to be doing something to join this group. And that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you hit that link in the description, pinned to the top of the chat. Listen, the after pill is the ideology, the escape blueprint is the framework, and PFP life is how you should live, in purpose, in freedom, and in power. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I built a life. I built a family. I worked my hands raw to get here, and I'm not done. This is the escape blueprint, PFP life, a way out of the grind and into control. You'll learn how I stack cash, build systems, and reclaim time so you can live on your own terms. You will watch me maneuver and grind towards the life that I achieve for myself, and you can also do the same. Join the circle, join the Patreon, learn the steps, and protect your freedom. The escape blueprint, PFP life.